Hey, what's up, my beautiful people? It's your boy Devo, some motivational back with another day trading spy recap. And real quick, I want to say thank you guys for everything y'all do for me. Thank you for all the likes, the comments, the subscribes. All of it really means a lot. And this is just the beginning. Remember, this is a journey. This is just the beginning. So much more to come. I really thank every single one of y'all who with me on the journey. We're back to 50 subscribers. Now let's aim for 60. Let's not go backwards. Let's aim for 60 and more, okay? And so today we're gonna go over what happened in the market. I didn't take a trade today. I'll tell you guys why. We're gonna go over our data that we had come out. We're gonna go over the earnings that we had come out, and that should be pretty much it. Today shouldn't be a long one, so let's get straight to it. Okay. Okay. So today to come into the market, we actually started off on the support area right here at 562. Why was the support? Because we see this is where it was resistance at. It knocked through. Where we see this where resistance at. We see this where we used support previously, and so this is the area of support. We start off right here. We start getting a bounce, but it was kind of just like choppy, and then we actually once that excuse me, my good people, once good news came out, which is our data. Let's come over here. So our ISM services employment, which is non-manufacturing employment, actually came out really good. So forecast was 47 and it came out 49. Business activity 53.7, 52.9 forecasted. ISM services PMI 51.6 forecasted 50.3. So pretty much everything pretty came out really good. ISM services prices 65.1, 61.2. So data was really good today. So that's where we had a little pump up. I mean, from 562 to 565, and then eventually all the way up to 566. But it was just really choppy today. Didn't really have too much of a confident entry. Couple entries I wanted to get in at, so we dropped down. But look right here. Right here we had this seller volume pickup whenever it was dropping down, and so I wasn't really confident in this pullback right here. But I wanted actually price to actually sit on the top of this range when we had that. It didn't do that. It ended up pulling all the way back down to the support. So I wasn't really too confident in this one right here. But then we did end up having this pump right here. And then we had a range. It dropped a little bit into this strength candle again and then pumped back up. And I was seeing all of that, but honestly, because there was so much chop, there was no volume to the upside. I was honestly looking for manipulation to the upside again before giving a change of character back to the downside. I was looking for manipulation. I mean, a range right here and some type of a sweep right here, and then like try to create a change of character before creating a downtrend. Why? Because yeah, we're getting good news, good data, but we're still not out of the woods with all the recession looming over. The tariffs, Trump actually added, so we were getting a lot of bad news, a lot of tariff news while we had good data. So Trump putting 100% tariffs on other countries for movies and filming and stuff like that. Okay, so right here we see President Donald Trump on Sunday announced a 100% tariff on movies produced outside the country, saying the American movie industry was dying a very fast death due to the incentives that other countries were offering to filmmakers. This is a concerted effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. This is in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Excuse me, my good people. So Trump added 100% tariffs on foreign-made movies to save dying Hollywood. So he added tariffs on that. And then Trump also said he was not willing to drop the 145% tariffs on China to get them to the negotiating table. Okay, so we're getting a lot of bad news coming out while we had good data, and so it was just kind of like a little iffy. And as you see, it was very choppy. As you can see, we're at 50 cent price changes right here, and you see it. And if we come down to dollar price changes, you see how small this gets, right? So that's how you could tell there's just no volume in the market. As you see, there's no volume in the market. Even when we pull up these candles, in the 1 minute, it will look like the candles are all right. But if we come into the 5 minute, oh man. Sorry about that, good people. Oh man, let me put that. Oh, okay. So as you see, there's no volume. It's to the floor. This volume is very low. So there's not real volume today. And so that's also why I'm saying I can see this a dump coming, because also these recession risks I can see is possibly falling into recession. And as you see, the higher the price continues to pump, the lower the volume's getting. So let me zoom in. Let me zoom in. So over here, as we see, when it was buying up, we can see this volume up. We see the seller volume up. We see the buyer volume. We see buyer volume picking up, buyer volume picking up, and it's starting to drop, You see the seller volume starting to pick up, and there, all the buyers are dropping, buyers are dropping, buyers are dropping. They picked up a little bit down here. You see them picking up, but then they start dropping once price starts to shoot up. Sorry about that. As we can see, the buyer volume is just falling. There's not real buyer volume. Look at that. Oh my God, the buyer volume is getting smaller and smaller. That's what I'm saying. The higher we go up, is the higher price climbs, the lower the volume is getting. Okay, and so that's why I can see this. That's why I can see it coming up to that 570, 575 level before falling, right? Because as you see, it's climbing, but it's losing volume. And that is also what we started to see at the top over here. When we're climbing, you see all this volume climbing, right? And then once we start to get up here, this volume starts to lower, Even through this July, September, November, you see the volume kind of start to fade, right? Because up here, you see this buyer volume. Look at all this buyer volume, right? Compared to July, September, November, you see, and then up to this here, you see how that volume is starting to fall. And then that's when we end up getting the heavy seller volume kicking in. We see the seller volume right here is picking up higher than the buyer volume. And then right here, see that buyer volume dipping and dipping, and the seller volume is coming up and picking up and picking up and picking up. And look at this seller volume picking up, and look, that's when we had the drop. Okay, so that's why we always want to pay attention to the volume, because you see, as the buyer volume was coming down and the seller volume was picking up, you could start to see price fall. And that is the same which we're kind of falling into as we're trying to get these little pumps up. As we're trying to pump up, we're starting to get lost in buyer volume. Okay, so that's why we want to pay attention to three things. Remember, price, momentum, and volume. We want to see the amount of volume, which is like the amount of people that are buying or selling. We want to see the momentum, how fast price is changing, how fast price is moving up or moving down, and actual price. Okay, and so today we had Palantir earnings, and Palantir ended up selling off. Okay, so today we had Palantir earnings, right? So to start today, market open, Palantir is at 123. Okay, and then to end the market, it was around that 120 to 124 area, and then right after market closed, we had got Palantir earnings. And as we could see, Palantir done dropped $11, 9%, okay? But let's look at Palantir's earnings. They crushed earnings. 862.89 million revenue projected, and they had 883.86 projected. 39.3% growth, 13 cents per share. And so they crushed earnings. And so there was no real reason. I mean, I don't think they had any guidance or going forward, any bad, or I don't think they had any bad forward guidance or anything. They just sold off, okay? And if we go into Palantir, and okay, Palantir is something I don't have. I do not have Palantir, but that is a company that I do need to get, okay? That is a company I'm looking at getting, but I'm looking at it to fall. I'm looking at it to fall because it can fall. It already fell back down to this. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me go to the daily. Palantir has fell, and and it touched its all-time high. So this is where Palantir was running up while the whole market was kind of having pullbacks and everything. As you can see, from April 25th, it was just straight running up from 98 all the way up to 125. And so I feel like they priced in the earnings, not fully priced it in because we still had the tariffs and everything, but I feel like they were kind of pricing in good earnings, and then just had retail buyers like me and you buy it up, and then now they just straight sold it, and now it's all the way back at this 112 area. It's all the way down here. And so I'm looking at loading up on Palantir or getting some Palantir because I really do want Palantir. It's a really good company and it's going to be around for a long time. But I'm looking for it to, maybe come down to this area of resistance right here. So this like 100 level or 98 level right here. Yeah, this is where I'm looking at it to load up. You remember, you don't want to buy at these highs. You want to get at the low. So during our next like drop that I can see coming, that's whenever I'm gonna load up on some Palantir. I don't really show y'all like all the different stocks and stuff, so that was just like a little something to go into for the earnings and stuff to show y'all that. But so we had some good data, we had good earnings, but it still sold off. That's just kind of going into what I'm telling y'all about how the market's going up, but it's kind of like faulty going up. You see what I'm saying? So honestly, let me delete some of these lines. Honestly, I don't like all these lines on the chart. But I mean, I'll be needing them, right? It's my support and resistance levels. But delete that. Let's mark out this one that we just deleted. 567.90. That's a good one. Okay. Yep. That's pretty much all we gotta have, right? That's pretty much all we gotta have right there. Because it was breaking through already. It already broke through all of those areas of low resistance and stuff. And so we're kind of in between that 567 and 562, okay? And so what can I see going into tomorrow? Well, let's look at our data. Let's see what data we have coming out to tomorrow. Exports and imports. Yeah, that's and balance of trade. That's going to be very important. That's going to be about an hour before market open, so we will be pretty good. So stuff will be like we'll see if pre-markets wants to dump price or pump price. So what can I see going in tomorrow? Well, if we want to dump, we have this support right here. So obviously, you know what I'm gonna say. I mean, if we dump under this support and we use it as resistance, you know what I'm saying, we will be from that 562 to 558 level. But if we want to actually continue to pump, I could see us actually using this support and just trying to, slowly make our way through this again, right? And so tomorrow might be another choppy day because on Wednesday is I feel like what the market is going to be waiting on, and Wednesday is when the Fed is going to be talking. Fed press conference, Fed interest rate decision. So Jerome Powell is going to be talking at 1:30, and that's when we will get a big dump or a big pump. Okay, so Wednesday is going to be a very important day for the market. Tomorrow it will probably be some more chop, but tomorrow after markets, we do have AMD and Super Micro Computer. We have Tempest AI, which Nancy Pelosi has some of that. If you know who Nancy Pelosi is, has some of that Tempest AI, so that's pretty important. And Super Micro and AMD, okay? And so tomorrow I could probably see a lot of chop going on, probably from this 562 to 567 area. It'll probably be a little choppy like like today. So I don't really see much going on tomorrow. But we're going to stick to our trading plan. We're going to be ready. Today we didn't trade. It was a lot of chop. It was a lot of uncertainty. But tomorrow we'll be coming in and we'll be looking for a trade like always. I was looking for a trade today, but it was very choppy. It did pull into this fair value gap. But look at this. From 10:35 to 11:45 just to reach the top. Basically a whole hour for it to go from 563 to 565. So I would have had to stay in that trade for a whole hour just to profit a $2 move, right? So you don't really want to be in that. That's where it goes into me just telling you there's a lot of chop. So today was, I mean, you could have traded, right? I mean, I've seen some traders who made a lot of money, but I've seen some traders who lost a lot of money trading today. Today was the day where I just stayed out of the market, okay? So, um, we still have tariffs. Trump is adding more tariffs. He said he's not dropping the tariffs on China, and so we could have more of a down move tomorrow, but we never know. The market could want to continue to pump to a certain price to a certain area before actually selling off a little bit more again. Okay, so like I said, we have Fed on Wednesday, but tomorrow we do have some data on exports and imports goods, but that will be about an hour before market. We have earnings, but that's after market tomorrow, and so that is pretty much it. I told you guys today wasn't gonna be long. We didn't really have much to go over, but I just want to make sure to show up for you guys. Tell y'all, I mean, we did have a little bit of news, so I did want to tell y'all that news. Tell y'all about how Palantir crushed earnings, but they still sold it off, so we're still not off. We're still not out of the woods, right? Because if Palantir crushed earnings, Palantir is security for the microchips like Nvidia and stuff like that. So Palantir is just as important as Nvidia, right? Those two go like hand in hand, right? And so if Palantir crushed earnings and it sold off, we're still not out of the woods. We're seeing that the market still doesn't want to take chances of buying. And as we see, the closer we get to these higher levels, the more the buyer volume sells off. I mean, the more the buyer volume lowers. Okay, so we're still not out of the woods. So that's pretty much it. Remember, I love every single one of y'all who are with me. Remember to study so you guys are not gambling in the market, so you guys know what you're looking at. Remember, have risk management, follow your strategy, and have discipline, okay? Because those things are going to keep you in the game long run. Remember, we're not trying to hit the lottery. We're trying to stay in the game long term, okay? Remember, I love every single one of y'all who are with me on the journey, and this is just the beginning, okay? A lot more winners to come, a lot of bigger winners to come, okay? Love every single one of y'all. And remember, guys, stay persistent, passionate. Make sure I get paid, all right? Peace.